Hi, my name is Kitty Lindsay. I'm originally from Charleston, West Virginia. I'm currently living in Paris, and I am a writer, a theater maker, and a feminist. I recently graduated from George Washington University in Washington, D.C. with a master's in women's gender and sexuality studies and my degree has a concentration in public policy. In 2016, I created a podcast called Feminist Crush, which features conversations with artists and activists about the intersections of art activism and feminism. It's kind of a feminist time capsule because when I started the podcast, there was this optimism, there was this hope, everybody was riding this wave of this new feminism that was going to usher in a woman president in the United States. Everybody was really excited and the energy was electric. And then the second season was recorded after Trump was elected. And, the mood of that season was very much kind of everybody was in shock about it and didn't know how to move forward. And then the third season, I noticed there was this anger, there was this action, there was this rage that was being channeled into all of these projects. People were coming in and saying, I'm doing this and this and this and this. And those projects or initiatives some were very local and some were, national and others were global. And so it's been really interesting to kind of chart where feminism has gone. Over the course of the podcast, it's just given me so much hope. It's given me a reason to believe that change is possible and that people care and they want to make a difference. Feminism, at least in the United States, has always been a labor movement. That's where it started, and that's in a lot of ways where it's made its biggest impact. But now feminism has grown into kind of this umbrella movement that allows all these other movements to flourish. For example, economic equality movement or the gay rights movement, or I'm really excited about the Black Lives Matter movement. And obviously these are their own separate movements, but I feel like they are connected. This intersectional approach to feminism has really taken root in American feminism. And this idea of acknowledging that each community has a unique experience of oppression, but all our oppressions are knitted together. And so our collective liberation lives in our ability to recognize that each oppression is distinct but connected to another. If I were to point to a difference that I see between European feminism and American feminism, it's the kind of social safety net that is here in Europe that doesn't exist in the United States. And because it exists in Europe, that allows for certain oppressions to be addressed in a way that they can't be addressed in the United States. In Europe, you have access to healthcare, access to quality education. You have, in some parts, universal child care, things that make it possible for people of all communities to flourish. Having a social safety net in place is a huge part of why the focus of feminism in Europe is slightly different than the focus of feminism in the United States. One of the things I'm really fascinated about, again, generally speaking, European feminism, is this question of what is a woman and what does it mean to be a woman, and how I find the attitudes towards this question to be very inclusive in Europe, whereas in the United States, again, we don't really, we kind of think of it as this kind of frivolous question. There are more pressing matters, and the definition of woman in the United States is very, very narrow. But here, there seems to be, at least to me, more room for differing definitions of what it means to be a woman. I think as feminists, no matter the issue, whether it's climate change or pay equity or violence against women, I think feminism comes down to storytelling. Because I think for a long time, and still to this day, women are silenced. I think it's very dangerous for women to feel dangerous for some communities for women to feel empowered to tell their stories, right? Because once the stories are out there, you have to address it, right? Once the truth is out there, you either address it or you willfully turn away. But we need to get out there and make our voices heard. Let's forget about trying to infiltrate other spaces. Let's create our own space. Let's get together and, collectively scream, because I know that's what we all want to do. And I just think it's through storytelling, we build our voice, we empower ourselves, we empower other people. It's so funny. I was on Instagram and somebody shared a meme about mushrooms and how mushrooms, it rains and then all of a sudden you see mushrooms out of the soil and you think it just happened, right? But meanwhile, these mushrooms have been creating this network underground over time that the person seeing the mushroom above ground now had no idea was happening, right? And I think that's what feminism is too.